Hello, good morning, and it is the most beautiful morning here this morning in Carshalton Beaches. So I had a very interesting week. I was invited down to the Carshalton and Mitcham Rugby Club to put their boys through a session for their pre-season warm-up. It was really interesting. They were such great blokes as well. And what I'd like to do is replicate that session here today, taking it a little bit slower because there was 26 of them, so that was quite a big group to kind of manage. So what I'd like to do is completely replicate that session and breaking down just tiny little instructional points so that we can get it really right. So, Carshalton and Mitcham Rugby Club boys, this one's for you. So we started off just making sure that the alignment was right. So we know what this is, but I'm going to go through it. It's feet facing forward, hip distance apart, knees are locked out, so there's a very nice sort of softness there, so a little bend there. Our hips aren't swiveled in any way, and I really noticed that with the boys at the club. Some of them, they were kind of, their hip alignments were either hitched or slightly swiveled. So it's really about thinking that those hips are like your headlights and they're facing forward. Okay, so the shoulders are down and slightly back. Now, I'm going to show you a side version here because I spend a lot of time on the computer, and as you can see on the side, my shoulders are naturally rounded to forwards. So what we really need to do, and I'm going to slightly go here so you can see that muscle. Hope you can see it because I can't. But as I take those shoulders back and down, it's this muscle here that we're really trying to target. So it's a really little movement, isn't it? It's like just back, but we're engaging these muscles here. That's where I want to target, okay? So when I say take those shoulders back and down, what I noticed a lot of people just did this. It's lifting it back and then down. That's what we want. So neck nice and long, so no jutting forward, and then just bringing that chin in. And when we bring the chin in, it is very natural. It's not double chin like that. If it was, I wouldn't be able to speak. So let's start off with just some neck exercises. So we're going to take that left lobe over to this left shoulder. The right hand is going to go into the small of the back, and can you see I'm rotating that shoulder around and just using the left hand to increase that stretch. Now that should be quite strong if you've really rolled that shoulder back. And breathe. Now check here, have you hunched the shoulder? Has this one hunched up as well? Both of them staying back and down in this stretch, and that will really intensify right up to that tip of that shoulder. Brilliant. Okay, over to the other side. So right hand enables the crown of the head. Your left hand now is in the small of the back. You've rolled that shoulder back. This is so strong for me. Now, one of the things I want to bring your attention to is while you're doing this, is have you over-arched your back to push the chest forward and enable those shoulders. If you have, you need to bring that core in, which will straighten that back, and I hope you can see that. So really nice straight back. Okay. We're going to go to the shoulders, and what I want you to do is keeping your arms shoulder height, so we're bringing them out, palms facing forward. We're going to do some circles, but the movement comes from the arms. It can be quite dynamic depending on your range of movement, and it's not your shoulders. So it's not this, it's not that I want to achieve here. It's actually the arms doing the movement. Okay, keeping them shoulder height. Now, as you always know, I always say Pilates is really about breathing, but in these sessions, and because I'm not in the room with you, don't get hung up on the breathing. Just make sure you are breathing in and out through these exercises, and I'll cue you up as well. So usually it's a breath in to prepare, and when you're doing the exertion, that's when you exhale. Okay, round to the other side. Palms facing forward, and I want you to imagine that someone's stretching your fingers, so you're really trying to reach the sides of the room, so you're stretching as well as doing the movement. And breathe. Perfect. Okay. So hips, we're going to do the same thing, and I need you to take your feet just slightly beyond hip distance apart. I want to see the movement in the hips. Now, sometimes when we do this, I know we also bring in the torso, but this time around, I just want it to be the hip movement. So you are going to get some movement in the torso, but not exaggerated. So let's start firstly with taking our hips to that left-hand side, and then the bum over. So that movement has made my torso go lower, so I'm just going to bring that torso up a little bit, but without putting pressure in that lower back. Over to the right and forward. So that's the circle we want. It's the movement in the hips. I'm so tight here. I can't wait to get back to my classes where I'm doing this almost daily. I know, I should be doing it daily at home. That's a confession there. Okay, and then see if we can just get just a little bit more movement rather than just being a little bit stilted like I was just there. Just really get those hips moving around. Okay, come back to centre. Let's just do it obvious on the other side. So now the hip's going to go to the right. Take that bum back, then to the left and forward, just slowly at first, just for you to bring awareness to how that feels. And then let's make it a little bit more fluid. And breathe. Breathe in this. Hottest day of the year yesterday, beautiful sunny day here today. Great start to the morning on the mat. Okay, so our emphasis there was on the hips, and it's going to stay on the hips for the next movement. So this time we're going to go back to hip distance apart. What I'd like you to do is make a fist by interlacing your fingers, and those elbows are staying in a straight line. So it's not that, and it's not that, okay? So this is what we're looking for. So think of your thumbs aligning to your breastbone, and then just take it away from the torso. Now, have you arched your back? If you have, it's because you haven't engaged those core muscles. So we need to bring in this core stability to support the back. Okay, we are going to go round, should I say, to the right-hand side on a breath, and then we're going to stop, take a breath, see if we can go a little bit further. But this time, and I know we do this exercise a lot, but this time I really need you to concentrate that the hips are not moving. So on Tuesday when I was working with the guys, I was seeing loads of this, but can you see how those hips have completely gone off on alignment? The hips have to stay here. It's not about how far you can get in the rotation, it's about the hips staying facing forward. So deep breath in to prepare, pull in those abs. On the exhale, round we go. So my hips are facing forward. Take a little pause here. Make sure my shoulders haven't actually come up to my ears. Deep breath in. Can we get a little bit further, but not compromising the hips? And back to centre. Deep breath in. On the exhale, round to the left now. And a way of kind of keeping the hips straight is that now I'm pushing this hip forward, so it's not travelling around with my torso. I'm going to take another breath here. See if I can go a little bit further, but not compromising the hips. And back to centre. Let's see if we can get a little bit further with our range on this next go. So deep breath in to prepare. Actually, I've locked my knees out, so just check, have you locked yours? Breath in. Round we go on the exhale. Deep breath. And round we go. And back to centre. Really push with your palms as well, so that we're using those arm muscles too. So double whammy, really. Breath in to prepare. And the exhale, round we go. Drop those shoulders if they've risen up. And round we go to centre. Okay, perfect. Now, these exercises that I created for the Carshalton and Mitch and Rugby boys was actually to ensure that we worked on things like quads, we worked on things like hamstrings, we addressed any issues around groin strain, any issues around shin splints. And although you might think that, Sue, I don't play rugby, this isn't, you know, I don't need to address this. They're still great exercises for actually stretching those muscles, and especially the inner thighs and the outer thighs and the backs of the legs, which is all areas that we want to target. Legs are going to go wider than hip distance apart, and the feet are going to go at an angle, okay? So knees nice and soft. You're going to go into a squat, and the squat is being driven by the tailbone driving down towards the floor. So push the knees back, so keep your hands pushing back your knees, keep that torso high. And what you're going to do is you're going to do alternate heel lifts. And breathe. And we're going to aim for 5 each side. And here you should be feeling that stretch in that inner thigh. And really make this movement with purpose. So go as high onto your toes as you possibly can. Obviously, I've lost count already. So we're going to do a couple more. Okay, up we go. Down one more for a round. So knees pressed back, torso lifted, that chest nice and lifted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, feet now facing forward, so toes, should I say, facing forward. You can keep that wide leg stance, and in the rounds of this we're going to challenge ourselves and actually make the stance a little bit shorter. But let's start with wide leg. You are going to take a deep breath in. On the exhale, you're going to be hinging forward, palms onto the floor. I want you to walk the palms forward, challenge yourself, go as far as you can. The head is cushioned between the elbows. The heels of the feet are staying firmly on the floor. And what you're going to do here is lift them both up and down, and up and down, up and down. 2 more, up and down, up and down. Okay, walk your way back up. Let's shorten that stance a little bit. So, go within your range of comfort, but do challenge yourself, and off we go again. So, hips facing forward to begin. Let's take a deep breath in, hinge forward, palms to the floor, crown of the head down, so no jutting out your neck there. Walk forward as far as you can without the heels lifting. So they're starting from a place of being on the floor, and then lift and down, lift and down, lift and down, lift and down, and breathe and down. Last one. lift, and down. Walk your way back, and up you come. So next one, I'm going to go side on. We're going to take like a runner's lunge. So I'm going to take my right foot forward and my left foot is back. The left foot, so the foot that's going to go back, the toes have to be facing forward. So you might just need to adjust the distance that you've got between the 2 feet. Right, what you're going to do is slightly bend this forward leg. The hands are going to go down and cradle each side of the foot. Again, keeping that crown of the head down. Okay, I'm just going to take my leg back a little bit there because I can just challenge myself there. And again, we're going to do the heel lifts. So, 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Here, you should be feeling in the forward leg, this stretch is coming at the back of the thigh. Really do this move with purpose, so let's get as high onto the toes as possible. In the back leg, you're going to be feeling it in those calf muscles, so that gastrocnemius and the soleus muscles are getting a really good old stretch going on now. And in fact, some of you may even be feeling that calf stretch in this front foot too. All right, one more for luck. Okay, take the back foot forward, change position, so toes facing forward, making sure the heels are both down on both feet. Okay. Deep breath in. It's a slight bend here on the leg that's forward, and up we go. Oh, this is so tight in my calf muscle on this foot here, so I can really feel it in the calf here, and also on this muscle at the back of my thigh. It's not so strong on the back leg this time round. This is what I love about Pilates, it's just bringing your awareness to where are you feeling this? What's happening in your body? Really do this with purpose. Get as high on your toes as you can and down. High onto your toes as you can and down. Perfect. Step feet together. Gently up you come. Brilliant. Still working with the legs. Keeping your feet together on this one, unless it's too difficult, and if it is, you can just take them slightly apart. I'm going to keep them together. Challenge yourself. It's Saturday morning. See how you can do. So what we're going to do is we're going to engage our core here, and I'm going to take my bottom down as if I've got an imaginary chair behind me. And as I do the kind of movement to go down into that invisible chair, my arms are going to go up. So deep breath in to prepare, engage those core muscles. Back I go. We're going to stay here for 3 long breaths. Now keep that chest lifted. Challenge yourself. And up we come. Let's do that one more time. So this is where you should be feeling it in your thighs, okay? And we're cradling our head between the elbows, so it feels really supported. Deep breath in. On the exhale, the arms raise as the bottom goes back. Now, I just want to draw your attention to something. If you are slightly causing a bend in your back, you need to bring those abs in more to create that back to stay straight. And up we come. Now, the next one is complicated, so I'm going to break it down because it's such a lovely move, and it actually strengthens the muscles between the ribs, which are called the intercostal muscles. So it's an area that we don't often really even think about. So I'm going to go through this really slowly. You're going to take your right hand and place it into the small of your back, or just below the small of your back, okay? You are then going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, I want you to lift up from the waist. So lift up and out of the waist. So imagine you're trying to create space between your waist and your lower ribs, okay? Now, as I've made that movement, I need to really engage my core so that I'm not overarching my back. And I'm going to show you a side profile in a minute. When I've made that movement, you'll automatically see that my chest is beginning to lift. So I'm going to continue that chest lift. Just keep that core in as well. Just as is comfortable for me. That's there. Don't take your head back because that really hurts. So the head is staying strong, neck straight with the spine. Let me show you that on the side because it's really important that you don't overarch your back. To get the chest lifting up, so there's that lift. Then taking that chest back. It's the chest that's lifting. I am not doing this, okay? That's not what we want. So, I've slightly locked my knees out there, so I'm just gonna make sure I unlock them with a tiny little bend. Right, that's as far as is comfortable for me. I now want you to imagine that you want to get a £10 note out of your right pocket. So your left hand is gonna come across. That's the small movement, that's the torso twist that I want to see. As the hand goes down, let me get that £10 note. And to really breathe into this, just keep adjusting. One more. Back to centre. Up you come. Let's try that the other side. So this time, left hand is going to go to the back. Take that deep breath in. Create the space between the waist and that lower rib. So there's the lift. That automatically takes the chest up. So then take the chest back. Keeping the abs really tightly in. And when you keep these abs in, you're also engaging the abs at the side and the back as well. Okay. So, tenor, left hand side pocket. Right hand is going to be diving into it, but you need that torso twist. So there's the torso twist, and that's what you're working. It's these intercostal muscles and the obliques. Round you go. Keeping your position. Don't throw the head back. Breathe. So much going on. I told you it was complicated. Okay, try and keep those hips forward. Mine just swiveled around there. So it's bringing your awareness to that. Okay, and back to centre. Or after that, we need a roll down, don't we? So, feet hip distance apart. Take those shoulders back and down, leading with the head. Down you go. Followed by the shoulders. The arms are not sliding down the thighs or the legs. You go as far as you possibly can. Take a breath there. Now slowly, we're going to come up. So engage those core muscles. That's going to be able to bring your torso up. Palms off the floor, fingers suddenly lifting up, and you're driving your tailbone down so the bottom's not sticking up behind you. Shoulders back and down. Last thing that comes up is your head. You're done. Carshalton Rugby boys, that was for you. Thank you so much for all the fun we had on Tuesday. Let's get out and enjoy that sun. Have a great weekend. Until next week. Bye-bye.